Okay, hello everyone. Sorry about that. I seems to be having troubles with my Linux machine, but yeah, got my laptop up and running, and we're good to go. So welcome to my talk about getting started with the home labs, and yeah, this is supposed to be with your own laptop if it's functioning. Don't update it the day before. So little about me. As you have seen, I work as a research assistant. I just started at the University of Jyväskylä on the IT department. It's a short, temporary. And then I've been studying this year's embedded software programming and of course the cybersecurity, which I hope to combine at some point. And my background is in business consulting, and I used to have also a startup, which I don't longer have. And while I was doing that, I studied also history, and I specialized in Russian and Eastern European studies, and that trade between EU and Russia. So hacking has been my hobby, and I really have gotten into memory forensic, which I'm hoping to become better at some point. And yeah, so this has been about me, and I think we can get started. So first of all, I want to thank these gentlemen because they have been really nice to help me with this one. First of all, Michael and Timo, they have actually planned this home lab, and they were kind enough for me to actually use it for this purpose. And then Tommi Pernila, of course, because he was actually proofreading this presentation and giving me really good questions how to actually enhance it. So thank you for them. Okay, so this is the net when it's up and running. So I would suggest to go only with 3 machines. Depends on how much memory and disk space you have there on your laptop, but this is the bare minimum, I would say. So there is the server, and there is the attacker, admin, and the gateway, which is pfSense in this part. And so this is the only thing that you are actually going to have when you are working with the lab. And you don't have to actually go outside of the virtual box. So all these are connected together, and there is only that one, which is pfSense. So it's quite simple to work with the interfaces as well, which is, I find it really lovely when you are starting up with this. So this is minimum requirement, and I would suggest to go above the 16 GB and a little bit more disk space, but of course, that's how we roll. And so of course, you need the ISO images to get you started. So here are the ISO. So there is Kali, and then there is one desktop, and then there is the server image, and of course the pfSense. And these are the versions which I've been using. And the good part is that you can actually reuse the server image quite many times. So it's not so that you can just once use that one. You can actually make multiple servers if you wish, but don't recommend with the home lab on VirtualBox. So one thing, if you have Mac, Linux, or Windows, this interface configuration should be fairly easy with the VirtualBox. But if you have some other OS, I would suggest to check out that, because I'm not sure if you can actually configure them from the menu of the VirtualBox, so the GUI. And yeah, when you are downloading this, please make sure of the integrity of the images, so the SHA-SUM as well. And next one. So when we set up the gateway, so we use the pfSense, on this one. So there's the image. I'm going to have a video about that, how to actually take the image and use the virtual disk. So don't worry, all is there in future. I took a lot of pictures and videos, so I can actually do this without my machine. And then there is the FreeBSD, which is the OS which you are going to use for this one. And there's all the technical details. I won't read it to you because I'm sure you can actually read. So, and I gave you this little keyboard layout there, because the problem is when you are configuring the BF sensor, it does ask you which keyboards you want to use, and it switches back to US. So there you go, my pleasure. So here I'm going to the settings, and I don't know what I'm doing there, but yeah, not audio. Yeah, there it is, network. So there are the networks adapters, and that's the way to actually get the interfaces up, and you press OK. So you have up to 4 interfaces, which you can actually use, which is quite handy with this VirtualBox nowadays. And don't worry about connecting to your host machine. You don't need that either. So you can actually work through the virtual environment completely. Okay, so I had in my initial setup, I have an extra client as well as the admin, and that's actually, their setup is pretty much the same with all of them. That's the technical details. And of course, you use the Kali for Kali, and for client and admin, you use the desktop for the Ubuntu. And with the Ubuntu, we have this new thing called Netplan. So if you are not familiar with the Netplan, it's the easy way to actually configure your interface through the terminal or command line. So that's going to be quite easy for you to actually get set up all the things. And of course, you will need the certificates and all, but I have an extra slide for that. So if you want these slides, I can provide them all the information and links there. So new machine. So you start with the name, of course. And then you are going to choose the type. So if you can use whichever you want to use. And there you can actually choose, you couldn't see, but I put the Ubuntu there. So you just continue with the settings through that. So it's fairly simple and easy to use, I would say. And if you're thinking about how to actually get to the gateway, there is on BF sensors, so that you have the terminal, which I have the pictures of that too. So you have the terminal image and or the image of the machine, the BF sensor, and then you have the admin panel through where you are getting into the BF sensor. So it depends on what IP you are using. You can just go through Firefox after you have all the certificates and all set up if you are using the server. Okay, there's the server. So pretty much the same, using the Netplan, and you are good to go with that one. So only thing you need to think about is, do you actually want to have your server and then code some sort of simple SQL database and maybe some website to access that? I have a website, well, really vulnerable bank in my web server. But there are, I believe, images which are already vulnerable. So you can actually download ready images which you can use as a target machines for yourself. And there we go. So this is how you are going to insert the virtual disk into the system. I have all the images there. And simple as that. So afterwards, of course, you have to press the OK button to actually accept that. So, and when you're ready with this, for example, the BSNs, when you are using the virtual disk image, you have to actually remove it afterwards. Otherwise, it's going to loop the start all over again. So when you're ready, you just don't go to the shell. It asks you to go to the shell, close the machine, send a shutdown signal, and then go and remove the disk. That's all. Okay, and then firewall rules, because now you have all the machines, you have server, you have the gateway, you have all the configuration done, and you have interfaces up and all running, and now you can go to the firewall rules. So you go to admin panel on your web browser with the admin machine, and there you can actually start thinking about the firewalls. And my suggestion is to go with the WAN and the LAN, which are default in there. But if you want to go further with the OPT1 and OPT2 interfaces, it's you just read the documentation of BFSense. It's quite simple. You can decide how to actually make the rules for yourself. And then you, of course, can use ready-made rules, but I would say that you learn much more if you are actually starting with your own rules, for example, SQL injection or DDoSing. Okay, that was all. It's not that complicated. I could do it. I'm sure you can do it, and I'm really recommending. So if you don't have like fine servers or any sort of like special machine for this should work with your home laptop. Just don't try to get autonomous system into it so it won't crash. And if it crashes, don't worry, honestly. It's like I broke my host first time because it was way too full of stuff and something got broken. I just had to install everything again. Only thing was it was a bother. So if it's not the hardware which is broken, software you can always reinstall. So don't be scared of breaking things. I'm not. So thank you. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Marjanah. We have a few questions for you on the Discord side. The first question is a little bit humoristic because this is asking, will the year 2021 be the year of the Linux desktop?
Of course.
That's good to hear. Then we have also another question about the lab setup and specifically about the pfSense. Have you looked into using virtual LANs with the pfSense?
Not yet. That would be actually really interesting to look into. So this is the only thing that I have been doing, and of course having the autonomous systems. I'm looking into SDNs or software-driven networking. So not sure if I answered completely, but yeah, I would be interesting to try those ones when I have the server.
What was the biggest snag you hit when setting things up? What took the longest to solve?
What was the longest thing? Mostly it was, I think it was my DNS server. It was really difficult to actually get everything correct the first time because of the indentations and all. And if you've mixed up with one, so I have DNS server as well. So if you mix up one, that's actually, the whole thing didn't go to the internet. Oh, at one point, I accidentally clicked my DHCP off from my admin panel, and I didn't notice, and I was like, where's my IP? So that took me 2 days to actually realize that I had done something like that. So it's little things. Yeah.
Well, it's always DNS after all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So last question. Ain't it occasional failures one of the requirements for a home lab?
Oh, several. You
Yeah.
have to have several because you don't learn. You learn a lot more if you actually fail with these. And I wouldn't know that much about my operating systems or networking or anything if I wouldn't have failed so many times with this. So it's been a struggle, but I've learned so lot.
All right. Thank you very much, Marjanah. And
Thank you.
as a reminder that we will have these presentations on YouTube as well. So if you are interested to follow up Marjanah's presentation, how to do it on your home, you can do it on by watching the VOD from YouTube. But thank you very much. We will have a few-minute break and then I will continue.
Sure.
Actually.
Can I say something before I forget? I can give these slides if somebody wants them. Should it be in our Discord, or where would you think would be best one if somebody would?
We can actually put them on our website as well.
Okay, sure, because there are some pictures for the PF Sense and also it's easier that way. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.